will now be recorded.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Got a small meeting today. I had a couple people reach out to me that couldn't make it, so we do have some business that we need to discuss. But first thing we're going to do is just go over the agenda. You guys all have an agenda. Alyssa, you have an agenda?
I do.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
thank you.
And hi, Michelle. So we're just going to go over the agenda really quick, just some upcoming events, some recent things that we've had. And Angela can start off by talking about MVP 2.0. We recently had the event about that.
Yeah, we had our event last week, The Voice of Recovery Matters, and we had about 20 attendees.
There was about 29 people there.
Yeah,
I
it
counted
was.
29. Yep.
It was a really great group, very very engaged. There wasn't any awkward silences, which I love. What we came away from that is that there is a very very strong feeling in this town from pretty much everybody that we need a community center. So that's pretty much what we took out of that, because we have
I'm
these.
able to hear on the go-to.
Oh.
Can you hear us now, Andrea?
Yes. There we go.
Thanks. Sorry about that. All right, so we're just going over the agenda, and Angela's talking about MVP 2.0, boat event, Voice of Recovery Matters.
So just to recap a little bit, the MVP 2.0, we have the ability to bring up to $3 million in grants for community resilience over the next 10 years. So that's starting out with a $50,000 seed project that we're deciding on right now. We just had an event with members of the town. They were probably about 10 people, just community members that came to one of our group discussion events last Saturday. We have another one tonight and downstairs in the big room. What is that, the auditorium? Yeah, in the auditorium from 5:30 to 7:30. And essentially what that is, it's taking every meeting that we've had with all the groups, so like the Voice of Recovery Matters, when we met with the farmers, when we met with the senior center, all of the groups that we met with, we compiled a document that has bullet points on what was important to those town members when it comes to community resilience. And so tonight is our last meeting where anybody from the town can come, and we need input from town members so that we can decide on what this $50,000 to the town is going to go for the seed project. So that's where we're at now. More to come soon.
Any questions around that? All right, yeah, it was really fun event, a good event. Food was great, and we did have a bunch of people come to from the Recovery Center Hope, so that was really awesome to get their voices as well. All right, so we just had our pre-prom social host law event with Kathy Sullivan, Taylor's Message. I think there was probably close to 300 there. I would say 350 maybe. Parents and students. Kathy's presented now, I think, 3 years in a row. And we're going to continue that. Oh my goodness, I forgot to put that in the budget. Sorry. I just thought of something. So yes, we're going to continue this hopefully, in the following years. She's amazing, and I just thought her message is incredible, just around what social host law is, explaining it to parents, and talking about dangers of binge drinking and then the risks that go along with it. Jay was our host, so that was pretty awesome.
Parents were actually more engaged this year, I felt, than usual, and I know the principal got a few comments from people thanking her for having Kathy come, so people were very appreciative of the message that Kathy relayed, which was good.
Yeah, and I felt that way too. I felt like the audience was much more engaged this year, and one of the things that we did do a little different this year is we had one of our Helping Hands students passing out social host law cards, which the Northwestern District Attorney gave us 2 years ago, or a year ago, and we handed out like 150, 200 of those just to the adults. just so that that way they could have something to read as they're waiting and sitting, and then they know kind of like what we're going to be talking about. And we also gave them a little square QR code with Kathy Sullivan's website on there as well, so they have her direct information. So I think having given that to them before the event was really helpful to engage them right off the rip, right before the presentation. So thank you for that. We have Recovery City. Hampshire Hope is going to be running that, and Lauren is with us today. Lauren, do you want to talk a little bit about that event that you guys are having?
Sure, thanks, Chris. So next Thursday, the 27th, at the Academy of Music in Northampton, Hampshire Hope, DART, and the Northampton Recovery Center is hosting a regional screening of Recovery City, which is a recent documentary, just came out last year in 2024. It takes place, it's set in Worcester, so it's a fairly local story that follows 4 different women's journeys in recovery. So it's a free screening, open to anyone in the region, and following the screening, there will also be a panel Q&A with a filmmaker and 2 of the film's participants. I'm happy to drop in the chat the registration link. It's not required to register ahead of time, but just helpful for us to get a sense of numbers. And if there are any questions, folks can also reach out to me.
Awesome. Thanks, Lauren. And we do have flyers up in the front for anybody that wants to get flyers for it. And we post it on the boat page. We post it in the community. Anytime our partners send us any type of events like this, we try to get it out into the community as well. So thank you, Lauren. And we're pretty excited about Recovery City, too, because this past fall, or over the summer, actually in August, I reached out to Lisa, who created this documentary, and we had discussed bringing Recovery City maybe even into like the Hope Center and then you guys had it coming, so we were really happy to be able to be a part of that, and hopefully we can bring it maybe next fall out our way. So thank you. Earth Day 422, Aline, do you have anything on that?
The Helping Hand students and I are going to plan a cleanup, probably around Jackson Street, George Hannum Road, and Hamilton. Pick up trash and separate out the alcohol containers and nip containers, just to get an idea of how much gets tossed out the window.
Yep. Yep, and also if they come across like vapes or anything like that, to separate the vapes out as well. And that's something else I want to talk to this group about. So that would be the next thing that we're going to talk about is actually Drug Takeback Day. So this is kind of a good segue into that. Drug Takeback Day is April 26th, and we have been talking about doing a vape takeback day at the same exact time. Now, I know that other towns have done this during Drug Takeback Day, and they have to like remove the batteries from the vapes and then throw them into the thing. It's a process, and some people don't like to go through the mess, and it ends up getting thrown out in the trash anyway, which is a total environmental hazard. There's 3 parts to a vape. You have the lithium battery, you've got the juice, the vape juice, which is chemicals, and it's toxic, and it's a household hazard. And then you've got the plastic parts. So the plastic parts can be recycled. And so what Aline and I kind of did some research around it, and what we can do is collect the vapes, and then I know how to take them apart now. So we've already taken some apart and separated. We take the lithium battery out, we cut the wires all around it so it doesn't explode or anything. And then we take the vape, there's like these sponges in like the vapes, which the vape juice like goes through. It's really disgusting, and it smells very, very strong. And so we are separating that out, and we're gonna get rid of that and household hazard waste. And the lithium batteries are gonna go to Linda LeDuc at the DPW, and she's gonna get rid of them for us at the transfer station. So we have the process, the plastic pieces, we can recycle the plastic pieces. So we have the 3-part process that we have to do in taking it apart. But what do you think about us advertising for Vape Takeback Day during Drug Takeback Day, and we'll just have a separate box for the vapes that Aline and I will take and take apart. What do you guys think about that?
Sure.
That's great.
Could we have any incentives towards that? Like people that bring their, because this is the first time we're doing it, right? So do we do incentive, like people who are bringing their vapes? Maybe we do it with the medications too. Everybody gets a raffle ticket, you know, that comes up and brings their stuff back, and then we have a couple, you know, $25 gift cards or something like that.
Love raffles.
Yeah.
I would only caution, like, if you're going to do an incentive for the vapes during the same event for Drug Takeback Day, it may exclude you're excluding anybody else that's bringing in other things for that same Takeback Day.
Like
Is that,
what?
well, are you going to give an incentive to anybody that goes to Drug Takeback Day to bring their prescription drugs?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No. Yeah, we're gonna make it. We're not gonna just do it for vapes. We'll do it equitably. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so we could do something. You know, Lean and I can put something together like that. Maybe we do, you know, 4 $25 gift cards, 2 gift cards for the medications, 2 for the vapes. I think that is a great incentive to start. And then we can create the flyers around that as well and get it out into the community. Get it put on our town website. You know, now that we have somebody that can do that for us, it's pretty cool. So we will do that then.
How would it be, like, would people leave their name and phone number, or because
Yes.
people may be unwilling to do that, wondering if their name and phone number would end up in the hands of the police, or I don't know. I think people might not be willing to leave their, because they don't want to necessarily have their name and phone number associated with the fact that they might have been there dropping off things. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if anybody else has any thoughts about that, but I wonder if people wouldn't be wanting to.
Well, I don't think.
Leave information.
I mean, their names
There's a
aren't
lot.
going to be posted anywhere. It'll be anonymous. It's not like we won't post in the newspaper.
But I think that just has to be
Up-
made really, really clear so that it's not a disincentive to.
So we'll put right on the flyer, anonymity will be protected or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just 'cause, I mean, if you're returning like grandpa's heart medication and tossing that's fine. But if you have, bottles and bottles and bottles of oxycodone, some people may feel like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
oh.
Even though we don't look at the we just take it and throw it in there. I know.
You
Yeah.
know that, but I don't know if they know that.
And
Like, I
it's
think
a
that
voluntary
maybe.
thing, though. They don't have to give their name and go in the raffle if they don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, we can ask you want to
It's
enter a
their
raffle
choice.
too.
Whatever
Your
they're
name is
comfortable with.
anonymous. We'll contact you, something like that.
But definitely good point.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so we'll put something.
Just think about that.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
all.
put something on the flyer around that though. That's a good idea. All right, so I think we'll do that this year then. That's awesome. See how it goes. All right, then the next thing we have is farmers market. So really happy about this year because last year we were able to do farmers market in the fall and in the spring and summer every other week, and it was awesome for us to be out there in the community and interfacing with people because we know over the last almost 4 years that I've been here and Lean's been here and what you guys have been here, we know that being present in our community, physically interfacing with community members is key to building coalition and key to building collaboration. So we're happy that we are going to be able to do this again this summer. And starting June 22nd, every other Sunday, Boat will be having a table at the farmers market. I'll do the first one, and then we're going to have sign-ups for it too. Because Alina and I do it over the summer, but we do like to have volunteers, cover a couple ones here and there because, we like to have weekends too. So that will be a sign up that we'll bring around in June for our June meeting, the sign up for that. All right. Umbrella Wellness, I forgot to put that on there. Umbrella Wellness, right now we have 41 tables, nonprofit organizations. Aline has the flyer with her.
Yes.
That we want to send around to you before we send it out to the public, and just make sure you guys, if you have any suggestions or anything around it, can you pass a couple of them?
So vendor-wise, how does that compare to prior, or table-wise, to prior years?
We usually get about 50, 55. So right now we have 2 more months to get up to that, and we have about I think 14 maybes on there. And people in the past we've not had this many at this time. So what we found is that as soon as we send these flyers out, people see it and they're like, "Yep, we are reminded of it. We're hooked into it." So there you go. So we are going to be getting these flyers out tomorrow, by Friday, to everybody. So I'll be sending out the flyer and an attachment to the over 120 people that I invited through nonprofit organizations. They'll all get the flyer. Businesses will get the flyer. Aline and I are going to start soliciting businesses for prizes. We've already actually gotten just sending letters. I send about 200 letters out too in January, and we've already gotten I think about 15 prizes, which is great. We usually get about 60 every year. So we're in really good shape right now. I mean, for the Umbrella Wellness, what is going to be going on. Again, we have Barrow's Family Pulling Team pulling for a cause, which is about suicide prevention and mental health. We have the Hidden in Plain Sight trailer again coming this year. They came a couple years ago. Kathy Fisher Kelly Fisher from the Alex Fisher Foundation. She had lost her son to taking an OxyContin experimentation, fentanyl laced. So she'll be coming. We do have Boomer coming again. We're hoping the Woo Sox mascot will be coming. We have a face painter, henna paint tattoo, and a balloon maker coming this year. So one of the things that we're going to do different this year at the Umbrella Wellness, though, is and I'm going to put this in when we send the flyer out, that we recommend that the tables break down at 2:15 or 2:20, and so that they are all invited in to see the speaker. If they choose not to see the speaker, they can stay at their tables, but we want to give that option to people.
But also we really want to encourage people to leave the gym and
Right.
go into the auditorium. Like if all the people sort of stay at their tables, then they can still wander through the tables. But if the tables are all broken down, then there's nothing else to do, and we want them all to go into the auditorium and actually hear the
So the
speaker.
tables will be up from 2:12 to 2:30 about?
Yep, or like 12 to 2:20, I would say.
12 to
2:15.
2:20. Okay.
Yeah, and then after that, we'll make an announcement. We are going to be closing the gym down now. Please report to the auditorium, and that way people can go into the auditorium from 2:30 to 3:30, and then right at 3:30 we're going to do the raffle prize announcements. Right in the auditorium, and so that way everybody's already in there. There's no confusion about like, oh, we want to go see the speaker, but we don't know if we can stay at the table. So it's going to be pretty clear today, or Friday when I send this out to the nonprofits, that this is the schedule. From 12, arrive by 11 o'clock. 11 to 2:30. 12 to 2:20 will be the tabling. At which time the whole gymnasium will be locked and shut down, and then you will funnel into the auditorium. Again, people want to leave, they can leave.
Is that a speech we can tape or go live with?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
I think 518, we do need to check with Jake about that. All right, so Aline's the contact with Jake. So check with Jake to see if we can tape it, and post it on our TV station. It can go out live out into the public. So I don't know if Jake will allow that or not.
Okay.
But we would
I'll
like to.
confirm and I'll let you know.
Yeah. And if not though, Lou, you know, one of the ideas could be like interview, you know, you could talk to him
Yeah.
personally because he's a really good
We'll
guy.
be all around the fair that day.
Yeah. Jake is definitely an outgoing person, and we'll get the crowd going for sure. We're still waiting on to see if we can get him into the schools the day before, so that has not been solidified yet. So with the Umbrella Wellness right now, we have raised $3,250. And that money goes towards our, you know, we do that for the free food every year. Everybody gets a token that's worth $10 at the food truck. We anticipate that we'll probably get $1,000 more on top of that. We usually do about $4,000 every year, and that covers the food. It's perfect. I mean, it works out great. So that is going on there. So flyers again, we're going to start putting those out to nonprofits and everything, getting them into the schools just to put out on the tables and stuff like that. And then we are going to be creating posters, which we'll put out probably around in the community. Well, not probably, we'll put them out in the community. And then the lawn signs will start going out probably like first week of April. About the Umbrella Wellness, and then we're going to talk to Kevin about having it on the electric sign again as well. We do have a little bit of a conflict that I don't know if we call conflict, but we have another event going on in town that day. I found out, and it's at 12 o'clock at Arc Point Brewery, and they're having a craft fair over there. So I mean, there's nothing that we really can do about it. People hopefully, you know, maybe go to the craft fair. Come on over to our thing, grab some food, see some things. It might be a good thing. You know, it seems like every year we do this. There's always an event going on that time of year. That's a conflict. Last year it was Pride. All right, so that's that. What's going on? Any other updates, upcoming events, or anything going on? Anybody up there? Kathy, we did talk about the Recovery City coming up. Any other events?
The Belchertown Police is partnering with Kristen from the Northampton Recovery Center. We're doing a food and personal item drive till the end of, or till May. It benefits the Northampton Survival Center.
Great.
So we have a drop box in our lobby. So if anybody's interested, baby essentials, non-perishable food, paper products, pet supplies, personal care items, feminine products. So.
And is there like any type of flyer? With
There
that?
is. We have it on the Belchertown Police
Yeah, I think
webpage.
I've seen it.
I thought I did too.
Sure.
All right, yeah. So we shared that out too.
I can actually just send it to you right now.
Okay. All right. Great. Awesome. All right. So updates, Opioid Settlement Fund Committee updates. Kim, do you got anything on that for us?
I don't remember if we met in between our last meeting or not. We're meeting with a couple of different local communities that have sort of social work, public health department people who are working, you know, social workers and caseworkers that are shared by different towns, and we're sort of talking to those other towns and those other groups to see if that is something that we want to sort of propose somehow in our community, you know, maybe working with us, Ware, because Ware isn't part of the Ludlow one, right?
Yeah.
Us, Ware, Granby, and Pelham, or something like that.
Yeah.
Getting somebody who would oversee those 4 communities, or more, who knows, and would be sort of mutually shared in the cost, but help with, you know, these kind of the opioid issues, but also what they do in Ludlow. They do housing and food insecurity and all different aspects, and it was sort of under the umbrella of the public health department. So we have a meeting next Monday, and we're going to talk to people in East Hampton who are doing a similar kind of thing. I think they're located in East Hampton, but they might cover a couple of other well, but we'll have more after that. I think that's it. I don't think we've had much else going on.
Okay. So that brings me to the next order of business around drug-free communities and opioid settlement fund money. So, just to let everybody know, we are applying for year 6 to 10. Notice of funding has not come out yet. It usually comes out the end of January and is due mid-April. So, continuations for years 1 to 4 and 6 to 9 were due last week. So those continuations were basically applications for another year. So we don't know what is really happening. There's no answers on if it's coming out, when it's coming out. So with that being said, Mr. Cameron and Dr. Fortin have put together a proposal with a budget, and everything like that, like what we're going to be doing. For a continuation of drug-free communities and staff. So basically the proposal is equivalent to everything that we do right now. We're not asking for anything more. We are asking for the same amount that we get from drug-free communities plus a little more that we had asked for from opioid grant last year. And so this proposal is going to be for the continuation of drug-free communities and staff until September 30th, 2026. And this will begin October 1st, 2025. We're funded up until then. And then that way it'll give us a year to be able to find other funding or for notice of funding to come out for drug-free communities. It'll give us a year to figure, let the dust settle in America and see where things are, with grants being out there. Also, we have support that we have for it. Heather Warner from the Hampshire Franklin County Franklin Tobacco Free Community Partnership has done a letter of support for us. As well as our Helping Hands student group. I can pass this around for you to read, our boat members to read. Also, I did a letter for boat itself for support, which I will read for you. We are asking that boat members, anybody here sign this, and we are going to reach out to each sector representative to get their signatures on here. You will print your name, you will sign your name and put your title on there. So for example, if you're a voting member, put voting member. If you're a drug-free community sector rep, you could put drug-free community DFC sector rep, health sector rep, like Kim, or whatever, pediatrician. I didn't leave a lot of room, so, do the best you can with that. All right, so the vote letter that we are supporting, and if you're not in support, we're not gonna, crucify you for it, but, we're asking for signatures. We just said to the Belchertown Opioid Settlement Fund Committee, Ms. Hogue and Ms. Mata have been key stakeholders in establishing youth prevention initiatives as well as providing resources for prevention, treatment, recovery, harm reduction, and mental health and wellness throughout our community. They have increased the presence and overall performance of the BOAT Coalition. Ms. Hogue serves as the co-chair of BOAT and Ms. Mata serves as the secretary. We support and are committed to the proposal to employ Chris Hogue and Aileen Mata through 9/30/2026, as well as support the proposed budget for their programming. BOAT is committed to working collectively or collaboratively with the Drug-Free Communities Program and staff in creating initiatives, continuing to prevent the onset and reduce the progression of use of alcohol, cannabis, nicotine, tobacco, as well as related problems in the town of Belchertown. Further, BOAT is committed to its overall mission and is diligent in recognizing that substance use disorder and mental health conditions are public health issues, and that they support and implement a proactive approach through prevention education, harm reduction strategies, reducing stigma, and ease of access to treatment. Ms. Hogue and Ms. Mata have been vital constituents in their overall orchestration of the Drug-Free Communities program and their overall collaboration with Vote Coalition. We are a united coalition, and we support the continuation of the Drug-Free Communities program and staffing. Sincerely, Bo. So I'm gonna send this around on. I don't know if do you guys want to read this? Right? Okay. So that's just being sent around, and I will be meeting with some other people as well. Is Kevin around at all? Do you know today?
I'm not sure what his schedule is today.
Okay. So I'll reach out. I'll reach out to Kevin at some point as well.
I think he may be, because he was hoping to make it up here and clearly didn't. So.
Okay. And then, so that's basically what's going on with our grant and everything. We will be bringing the application. Dr. Fortin is reviewing it today, and we will be bringing the application to the Opioid Committee on Monday. They are not presenting until April, but we are bringing the application in Monday for the Opioid Committee to look at. April, in our next opioid settlement fund meeting, Dr. Fortin and or Mr. Cameron will be coming to our meeting and presenting for us. And then once the opioid settlement fund committee accepts it, it votes for it in favor, then we will go to the select board the following meeting, whenever their next meeting is, and propose it to the select board, and then they have to say yes or no. So, we're in pretty good shape. We feel like we're supported throughout the community and through the people that we need to be supported by. So, any questions around this? All right. Public health updates. Andrea, do you have any, or Kirsten? Hi.
The only update I have is the Board of Health and Ware is continuing their discussion with tobacco regulations tonight at 6:30. It is a virtual meeting, so anybody that cannot attend in person, there is the Zoom option on the agenda. And so hopefully that'll go well. I've been able to drum up some support for keeping strong tobacco sales regulations in the town. Because obviously what one of our towns does in the district will affect another town. So we don't want to see anybody going back with regulations and making them less strict. So they'll just be going over the local policy decisions that the boards of health can vote on and include into the model tobacco regulations, which also include state laws as well. So we'll see. It's not a public hearing. It's just a discussion and voting on the policy decisions, and then anything that is voted on as a revised draft will go to a public hearing. But the board will take comments and acknowledge people if they want to speak at the meetings prior to the hearing.
Okay. And I don't know if you know this off the top of your head, but nicotine-free generation. Do we know how many towns have implemented that at this point?
I don't. Ken Elstein would probably know, but I can get that to you.
Yeah, it was just.
I want to say it's more than 10 so far.
Yeah, I think we were number 11, and I know there's like a list that Ken Elstein has been working on with a bunch. There's like a whole bunch of people involved in this. There's several meetings coming up this week actually in like Buckland, South Hadley, Northampton. So it is taking off in Western Mass and in Eastern Mass. So hopefully it'll keep picking up momentum. But I was just curious to see how many people have adopted it yet. All right, Kirsten, anything from you? Okay. All right. Prevention, DFC, drug.
Sorry, I got bumped out for a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that starting on Friday, April 18th, every third Friday of the month from 2 to 3:30 p.m., I'll be hosting health and wellness clinics at the Belchertown Library. So I'm gonna bring my harm reduction program information and some harm reduction kits. I'll also have, blood pressure checks, blood sugar checks. We'll connect to local resources. and as many other things that we can get going down the road.
Okay.
So I'll also try at times to have other community resources there with me so that people can sort of get the information about the resource from the source. So that's the biggest thing I think I have right now.
All right, great. And you can reach out to us too, also, to help, collaborate with us on that.
Absolutely.
And
Oh, yeah, you're on the list.
Yeah.
Kristen, we'd be interested in putting DART information at that.
Awesome. Okay.
Perfect.
Great.
So
Thank you.
Get a packet together, get it to you.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks.
And I know that Neil, you mentioned this a couple times ago about like the community thing that they do over in Palmer. Is that something that we want to talk more about?
It seems like I'd have to research the two programs, both Palmer and Ware.
Okay.
Started those up, and I'd have to reach out to both of the officers involved and see how their program runs and
Okay.
what the parameters are for it.
All right. If you need help with that, just let me know about it. All right. Because Ware and Palmer, they do like a once a month.
I think Palmer's twice a month.
Twice a month.
Yeah, and it's a gamut, not just recovery or prevention. It's housing, it's food, it's shelter, it's
Domestic
driver's
violence.
license, legal advice, everything, the whole gamut.
Yeah, just a lot of resources in one area. I think that would be awesome to be able to do that if we can get that off the ground. Even if we could just do it once a month would be helpful.
Yeah.
Especially around like the Lord Jupp area and what have you too. We have to keep an eye out too in the community because we do have residents that have SNAP benefits and food needs, and with cuts and what have you. We need to be apprised of those things that are happening around so we can keep our community safe and well and healthy, as things coming down the pipe. All right, thank you, Neil. There's a Hope for Youth Performing Arts Fair at City Stage in Springfield coming up. It's the same day as the Recovery City program. Aline and I are going to go out there and attend that because we want to be able to connect with other organizations and partners in other areas. And so, like last year, we went out to Holyoke to one of the parks, and they had 365 cares or something. Yep. Hosted this big fair at the park, and we went there, and it was awesome because we were able to connect with other people, but also we had people in the Holyoke community come up to our table and talk to us about resources, and we connected them to some counseling. So having just an organization like ours in any community is beneficial because we're connecting with other people, but we're also able to save lives. I mean, that is big. That's what we're into. That's our business. We want to save lives. So that's coming up too, which we'll be attending. Aline is going to talk about the Helping Hands group that has become a Chapter 84 group, and there's a NUC Day coming up.
Yep. Enough Day stands for Ending Nicotine Use for the Future. It's going to be in Boston on April 3rd. Chris and I are taking 7 of our Helping Hands students. The 84 is providing transportation and meals for the day, so they will need permission to get out of school for the day. And basically they get a chance to meet with the legislation in Boston, and they get kind of trained on how to interact and get their message across. So it should be a fun day for everybody.
Yeah, that's cool. Youth Power Summit. All right. That's really exciting for the kids to be involved in that legislation process as well. So April 4th coming up for us, we are doing a 2-hour kind of a mental health first aid training with the probation office. So we are going to go through, like the action plan of helping somebody in a non-crisis or crisis situation. But the other thing that Aline and I have both been trained thankfully, you know, Kathy had put this out there. We just got trained as Narcan trainers, train the trainers. So we will be bringing that in as part of that little mental health first aid, because we do talk about overdose, and with the probation officers, you know, they are dealing with clients that are struggling with substance use disorder or are in recovery or want resources around that. So it's really important for another piece of our community that's important for us to be working with. You know, people that are clients that sometimes are forgotten about or underserved, and being able to look at them as a human being, and that this is this is a disease. This isn't somebody that's choosing to do this. What can we do to help them as a community? So we're going to be doing that April 4th at the probation office. And then the other thing in May, I think May 14th is the date, we have somebody coming in from Falmouth, Massachusetts. Her name is Reverend Sarah Maria Allenby, and she is a she used to be the spiritual advisor for Gosnell Treatment Center in Falmouth. And she is a LADAC, has her LADAC license, licensed alcohol drug counselor, and she also works as a chaplain in the hospital there. But she has her own business, and it's called Spirituality and Practice, and she works with people in the recovery community and also just people in general, doing meditation and mindfulness training through different work groups. So she's actually going to be coming in and doing a 2-hour mindfulness meditation training with the probation officers and spirituality and practice, because hey, we know that our workers struggle too, and you know, this will help with, you know, when they're dealing with crisis situation or non-crisis situations, as what we're teaching in the mental health first aid, it kind of goes hand in hand. And that they can, you know, come to a place and use it in their toolbox as their self-care plan as well, which we do talk about in mental health. So that's awesome. We are doing the Stanford Medicine Cannabis Conference. It's a couple days. Eileen did that last year. I did the year before. It has, you know, what are the new trends out in you know, the world, so to speak. So we will be attending that virtually. We do have the PNAS 2025 coming up for 8th, 10th, and 12th graders. I do know that the Preventative Needs Assessment Survey that we do every other year in the schools, I do know that the 8th graders are going to be tested, I believe, in May. And we don't know, you know, when the high school is at this point, but they have to do that. They are charged with doing the PNAS, so we have to have that data every other year for our community. We've been doing it since, who knows, 2000 and 2010, who knows.
Longer than that, I think. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time. But it definitely helps us, and it gives us a benchmark on what we're doing in the community, what we need to still do in the community, and what the trends are. Anything from DART, Kathy or Neil? Okay.
Kathy, do you want to have anything to add?
No, I think upcoming is going to be some DART training coming up for our police officers. We're hoping in the month of May. We're actually going to do a stimulant training and de-escalation for our police officers in the month of May, so that'll be coming up in May. You know, Belchertown's, I don't want to jinx it, but I can say, you know, people don't necessarily look at this, or people get excited and say, oh great, another drug bust, there's more off the streets. But also when that happens, and there was recently one last week in Springfield, it does tend to increase our overdoses around the area when that happens, because our individuals are looking for new supplies. So just, you know, it's just the trend to be aware of that. Things have spiked a little bit around the Springfield area, so that affects all of us.
All right. Thank you, Kathy.
So as far as Belchertown, as far as numbers, we, I track overdose and just other calls related, and in Belchertown, knock on wood, our overdoses are down from what they used to be. We have no fatals so far this year, but it's not, it's not like I have a scanner in my cruiser, and I know other towns what's going on, and there was an area town that had a fatal, so it's still happening. Overdoses, deadly overdoses are still happening around the area, so it's not like we're free of that whole.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah, and overdoses nationally have gone down quite a bit, but we still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Still have a lot of work to do. Thank you. All right. We have anything from recovery community now. One thing I am trying to do with Sarah Maria on the 15th is I had reached out to the Recovery Center of Hope in Ware. I haven't received any feedback yet, but we did offer to bring Sarah Maria over there the day after we bring her into the post office probation office, and if that doesn't come to fruition, then we will go ahead and maybe book her over here through the recreation department for our community and get that out into our community. Hopefully she'll be able to do it either way, like 2 programs when she's here. She's amazing. So I'm really excited for her to be here, and hopefully we can bring her back next year too. I'm hoping to have some type of a recovery program with her specifically. She does a lot, spirituality and recovery is huge. It's really huge, and a lot of people miss that part of it when they do start getting into recovery. And so we want to emphasize that, it's in here. A lot of it is in here. It's a mind, body, spirit disease. All right.
Is there some way, Chris, to get her hooked in specifically with Honest Beginnings in town? Either meeting at their house or getting the residents there to her?
We could work on doing something like that, definitely. Because I think it would be great to have Honest Beginnings be part of that. Even if she could even if to go to the house and have a space at the house to do it in.
Right.
But yeah, we can talk further about that. And maybe talk to Jill and Deb too about it, and Nick, to see if we can do that. I do have, like I said, I have the call out to Recovery Center of Hope. I sent it out last week, so I'm waiting a little bit on that. But if I don't hear from them in the next week or 2, we can move forward.
But if she does do Recovery Center of Hope, maybe can we get a bus to bring the residents?
Yeah, they have the connector, so maybe we could
something like
right.
that, to specifically for our community, get those residents
right.
hooked in with her.
Yeah.
If she's not going to do that, then maybe we do something specifically at Honest Beginnings. But
right.
I think that'd be great if we could get.
Yeah, and if we have an event over there, we know what's happening. We could, hopefully book the connector for transportation on that day, to see what happens. But we have a couple months for it, and everything comes quick. So we will revisit this in like another week or so, and then reach out to the other people about it. One of the things that like really we're so prevention heavy have been that like this year we had talked about being more proactive in the recovery, treatment, harm reduction realm, and we're trying to keep doing that. So if anybody has any other types of programming or any other ideas around those things, please bring them forward. Because we collaborate on these things. All right, recovery, harm reduction. We've talked about some of that too. Any other partner updates at all? All right. Our next meeting is going to be April 16th. We should have a better idea at that time about drug-free communities too, so we can give you guys an answer. Hopefully you won't have to get another co-chair, secretary, that type of thing. Anyways, yeah, so next meeting will be April 16th, and please reach out if anybody has any questions, and have an excellent day. Thank you very much.
Thanks, folks.
Bye, guys.
Ta-da.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Doctor's appointment in Northampton, but
Any
I will
thoughts
talk
on
to
the
you.
flyer?
Yeah.
Lewis.
Yeah.
thank you again for the signature.
You're welcome.
You guys all good with the flyer too?
Yeah.
Alright. We're gonna get that out.
Just,
I just needed time to